Okay, we said we get to the Pistons. Their game tonight with Oklahoma City certainly loses a bit of sizzle with SGA and Jalen Williams not expected to play, and that's like 50 points that they need to find. But it is an important game for the Pistons when it comes to bounce backs. I think it's an important game for Cade Cunningham to bounce back after going 5 for 26 against San Antonio. And I don't really care who you're playing. I prefer that they were playing a fully loaded Oklahoma City team, but I'm not worried about any sort of like significant drop from Cade. He's had a couple games like this year, but I think tonight's a nice night for Cade to bounce back after what happened the other night.
Yeah, it would be great because 5 of 26 is pathetic, and he knows that. And I think like I said yesterday, I don't think he's going to have another game that shoots that poorly the rest of the season. That was is the third time he shot below 20% on the year or 25% or whatever it was.
Yep.
It was awful for him, and it was also a bad matchup for the Pistons that they're going to have to learn from. But I want to see Asar Thompson bounce back tonight too. I want to see him be reinvigorated in the lineup, play defense, and play the way that we all expect him to play, and maybe answer a little bit offensively too. He had 8 points, I think, in the 18 minutes he played the other night against San Antonio, but was benched for the final quarter and a half of basketball, almost the whole second half. He only played a few minutes in the third quarter. So how is he going to bounce back? And what is he going to have to say about it after the game, or does he talk after the shoot-around? I don't know, but I'm curious how that works out too. The other player I want to see is Ron Holland. Ron Holland lit it up for a very short period of time against San Antonio. He kind of took things over a little bit. I mean, he had 9 points in 2 minutes and then ended up with 15 points in the game and started to maybe feel a little bit with the 3-point shots that he was not knocking down. But at that point, nobody was knocking down any shots. But Holland shows he's got some scary offensive ability at times, and so does Asar Thompson. Both of these guys are very, very young and have high ceilings, tons of potential. I want to see some of that more realized game by game as we move on through the season.
The other thing that's really interesting is ESPN announced today that they are picking up for a national broadcast Saturday night's game with Minnesota. And it's going to be on Saturday at prime time on ABC, which is really interesting because I think what we're seeing is, while we were a little curious whether or not the NBA was going to embrace a Piston team that emphasized defense, the feedback we're starting to get is that the NBA world is embracing it. The TV partners are embracing it. If you were on social media during the Pistons San Antonio game and paying attention to what a lot of NBA insiders are saying, Bobby Marks and Bill Simmons, they were really enjoying watching that game and talking about how good it was. I think it was Dominique Foxworth of ESPN, who's obviously an NBA guy, said it was the most physical game he's seen in years and he loves it. And now one of the network partners is putting the Pistons on primetime on Saturday night by choice. And I find that to be really interesting because it's the opposite of what we thought may happen.
Yeah, but we're 56 games into the season for the Pistons, and they're still the top team in the East by 4.5 games.
Yeah.
And they're a story at this point. I mean, at this point, TV, the ESPN and all those networks, they understand, okay, we're down the home stretch here for the basketball season. Let's start to what are you going to feature? I mean, you can only feature the Western Conference so much. You have to look in the Eastern Conference and say, okay, well, Detroit, there we go. They're always going to they can be prime time because they're Eastern time zone. And you're going to see a lot of Detroit, I think Boston, and New York and Cleveland. We're going to see a lot of that down the stretch here.
248-539-9797.
I think it's awesome that, by the way, it was Louis Riddick, I think, that said that.
My apologies, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's awesome that non-basketball people like Louis Riddick are saying, this is the brand of basketball I want to watch every night. This is awesome. So the networks may be embracing it, but is the NBA going to embrace it? And that's where I worry. And I'm talking about the officials and Adam Silver. You know what I mean? Because that's where it's going to hurt the Pistons on the court. Like, I don't want them to get punished in the playoffs when they bring this style of basketball to the playoffs. They're going to get physical. They're going to chip you. They're going to do things like that. If they call a tight whistle, everyone's going to be in foul trouble. I know they have a deep team, but you can't have your star players in foul trouble. So hopefully the NBA also embraces it, Doug, because clearly people like this style of basketball. They want to see some of this come back. It's enough with just the half-court shots and, the flopping, right? Bring back some physicality to basketball.
Based upon my experience, will the NBA embrace it? Well, if you follow the money, which is generally a rule anymore, just follow the money. I mean, it's always been a rule, but I think it's more true now than it's ever been before. It comes down to the TV ratings. Networks putting them on primetime Saturday night, just announced today, Pistons Timberwolves. Then if it gets a good number, if the public responds, I think the NBA will embrace it.
I hope so too. And then it also depends on the demographic too. I think the older guy obviously really loves this. The old NBA fan, the guy who loves John Tesh, right? Round Ball Rock. But does the younger guy? I'm serious. Like Stoney went off for 2 hours on it, I think. But that guy, you'll get him back with physicality. Will you keep the younger audience though?
My apologies. The game's not Saturday night. It's next month, but it is still stands to be mentioned that they got picked up.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yes, 248-539-9797. Let's get back to your phone calls. Ronnie is next on 97.1. Hi, Ronnie.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up?
I wanted to hit on, the players when you were discussing who should be let go, who should we keep. But then you switched over to Cunningham having a pretty bad.
Well, you say whatever you want. We have open lines, so what's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to hit on that real quick, too, because I had a 13-pick parlay with Cunningham over 20 points or better. And guess what my only loss was? Yeah. So, but as far as, do you guys happen to follow any of the, Lions fan groups at all?
No.
Because we have some good, awesome, passionate fans, but man, we have a lot of really dumb fans too, because a lot of these armchair GMs,
Ronnie, real quick,
what did you want to say, Ronnie?
We're short on time. What's on your mind?
Well, as far as I agree with you as far as keeping Barnes. I mean, having a solid defense is key, and I understand. Yeah, I agree with that, but I also think it's going to come down to, we're going to have to eventually, especially next year when we have to sign Laporta, Branch, Gibbs, and Campbell. So, I mean, it's going to come to a point pretty soon where we're going to have to tell these guys, listen, do you want to play for a winning team or do you want a bigger contract?
Oh, no. Wow. Shark got him.
Yeah, as a general rule, you get about a minute. It's a general rule, so make sure you get right to the point. As far as building the defense, yeah, I think everybody wants to see the defense be built. How we get there is debatable. It's kind of a tough deal when it comes to asking players to take less to play for a winner. Where it's not a tough deal is asking them to restructure. Jansen said as a player, he loved getting restructured. So hopefully they got a bunch of guys that want to be restructured to create cap space where they still get some money up front, but works out in everybody's best interest in the long run. Karsch and Anderson, 97.1.